Another important landmark judgment delivered by the apex court in the year 1981 is relating to S.P.Gupta vs. Union of India, which is famously known as the judges' appointment case. And here the very case revolves around appointing of judges on the very consultation of the President of India. Why? To the appointing of judges with the powers, and in particularly also it relates to separation of powers among the legislative, executive, and judiciary as provided under the Constitution of India, and those issues involved as per the provisions under Article 124 of the Constitution and Article 217 of the Constitution, and finally the very judgment delivered by the apex court, and also the very conclusion relating to this important landmark judgment, that is the S.P. Gupta vs. Union of India in 1981 case, emerged in the context of the principle of separation of powers, a fundamental element of the Indian Constitution. This principle seeks to ensure that the functions of government are divided among the legislative, executive, and judicial branches to prevent any one branch from gaining excessive power. The case challenged the existing method of appointing judges to Supreme Court and High Courts, asserting that the appointment process was overly influenced by the executive branch and lacked proper involvement of the judiciary. In particular, the case raised concerns about whether the executive branch through the President of India had too much control over judicial appointments and whether this violated the principles of separation of powers while potentially undermining the independence of the judiciary. The petitioner argued that the judiciary should have a more substantial role in the appointment process to maintain its autonomy and prevent any undue influence by the executive. So the issues involved here in this important leading case, what the term consultation means as provided under Clause 2 of Article 124 and Clause 1 of Article 217 of the Constitution of India. Further, whether the appointment of judges to the constitutional courts as Supreme Court and High Courts is an exclusive prerogative of the President of India based on the advice of the Council of Ministers, and that the term consultation is not synonymous to concurrence. Further, the issues raised in this landmark judgment whether the existing process of judicial appointments undermines the independence of the judiciary and breaches the very principle of separation of powers. So the judgment delivered by the Honorable Bench by majority ruled that the word consultation could not be interpreted to mean concurrence. In its judgment, the Supreme Court upheld the primacy of the President of India acting on the advice of the Council of Ministers in the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court and High Courts. The court ruled that while the judiciary's views are to be consulted, the ultimate authority for making appointments resides with the President of India. The court acknowledged the importance of maintaining judicial independence but concluded that the Constitution does not explicitly provide the judiciary with a decisive role in appointment process. The judgment noted that the appointment process includes consultation with the judiciary, which serves as a safeguard, but the executive remains the final authority. The court reasoned that this arrangement was consistent with the constitutional scheme, which emphasizes the role of the President of India and the Council of Ministers in the appointment process. So finally, the judgment delivered in the important leading case, that is S.P.Gupta vs. Union of India. The judgment affirmed that the appointment of judges to the higher judiciary, in particularly the high courts in India and the Supreme Court, is primarily an executive function, with the President of India acting on the advice of the Council of Ministers. Although the judiciary's views are to be consulted, the President of India ultimate power lies with the President of India to appoint judges. The ruling established a framework where the executive retains significant authority in judicial appointments, shaping the governance of the judiciary while maintaining the constitutional provisions of separation of powers as provided under the Constitution of India.